Hello, everyone, and welcome to this reading. I hope you're so well. And today we're going to continue with this series, and we're going to be looking at you through the eyes of your friends. How your friends view you, what makes you a good friend, the role that you play in your friendships, and maybe what they appreciate about you that you might not see. Okay, so go ahead and choose your reading, and then I'll see you there. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose wise leader. How do your friends view you? Well, they view you as a wise leader, definitely. I think that they see you as someone who has the courage and the strength to set themselves apart from the crowd. You are definitely not a follower, you are a leader. Like, you are a trendsetter, you create your own path and you kind of go your own way in life. So I feel like your friends, I do see a lot of inspiration, like your friends see you as a source of inspiration in their own life. You are a beacon for others. Like, see how this leader is holding the fire, the torch, the light. Like, you do hold some kind of light within your friends' circle or just in your friendships. Your friends see you as really full of light and warmth, and kind of, I feel like being around you makes your friends feel more courageous and strong, as if like they can go out and conquer the world, they can go out and fulfill their dreams. And I think your friends really notice this when they're around your aura, around your energy field. They feel a lot safer, they feel a lot more in control and powerful and strong, and like they're going in their own direction. And I think that you might have also helped some of your friends, like they're showing me that you've helped them to make really tough decisions, whether you know this or not, whether you've kind of consciously helped them or whether you subconsciously helped them or influenced them. I see that your friends see you as being pivotal in them being able to make really challenging life decisions, like to leave a toxic relationship or to leave a toxic workplace. Like, it's something about you inspire your friends and show them how to take their power back in life. I'm feeling kind of a catalyst energy now as I tune in with your energy, where you kind of almost create ripples of change in people's lives when you come into their life. Like, for example, someone might be really tolerating this toxic job that they're in. They might be tolerating it, right? And they're kind of really unhappy, but they're sort of just submitting themselves to this job day after day. And then it's like they might, hang out with you and be really impacted when they start to tell you about their life and their job, and kind of seeing your reaction creates almost like a catalyst within themselves where they're like, wait a minute, I'm really unhappy. I actually have to do something about this because like no one else is going to come in and save me here. And I think that's what you make people realize is like, what are you waiting for? No one else is going to come and save you. Like, you have to be the one to kind of look after yourself. So I'm seeing people like they leave being with you and they have this fire lit. They have a fire like under them where they're like, oh, I need to create change. I need to stand up for myself, or I need to go confront this person, or I need to go give my 2 weeks notice. There's something about you that your friends really perceive as being free or in control of your life or empowered. And I also feel that you definitely don't live for others. Like, I feel like you're somehow freed from living under the burden of kind of endless obligation, or you're just not the kind of person who would submit themselves to a really unhappy job long term. Like, there's something about you where you kind of advocate for yourself, or you live a life that's alternative, and you're not afraid to do that. You're not afraid to kind of, I feel like you're able to take risks and kind of, be an entrepreneur or run your own business, or there's something very independent about your energy, and this very inspiring for your friends. Like, they really want to cultivate more of that in their own life, the ability to have really strong boundaries, or to say no, or to live outside of the status quo or the norm in some way, and to have the courage to do that, and also the faith in yourself in a way, the confidence to do that as well, and the confidence to maybe also like be disliked. Like, I feel like you do things that your friends are like, how can you do that? Like, maybe your friend is too afraid to set a boundary with someone, whereas like you just go ahead and cut them off completely. And I feel like your friends are looking at you and they're like, how do they do that? Because they feel like it comes very naturally to you, whereas for them, I feel like a lot of your friends, it doesn't come as naturally to them. I mean, it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, but I'm just seeing them really showing me the contrast between how they feel about doing things and then how you seem to do it with a lot of ease. And maybe it's not easy, like maybe you do have discomfort in making tough decisions, but there's something about your willingness to do that, your willingness to actually make tough decisions and hard life decisions, but it gives you a sense of ease in your life. Like, I think this is, you know, there's a saying where it's like hard decisions, easy life, easy decisions, hard life. I love that saying. And I feel like you really embody this thing of like hard decisions, but an easy life. Like, you've had to make tough decisions. Maybe you've had to, like I said, you live outside of the norm in some way, or you've had to set boundaries or free yourself from some kind of toxic situation in the past. I feel like you've already done this. You've already freed yourself in some way from something that was really toxic and made you feel really not free, that really like stole your freedom in some way, or that you were living out of obligation or too afraid to be different or something. And then it's like you overcame that quite quickly. And now you live on the other side of that, and your friends can see this in you. They can see that you live on the other side of something, that they're still not there yet. Like, I'm just seeing them really struggling with this sense of, how do I free myself from like the matrix, sure, but also just from like the way that relationships can really be not very free. Like, a lot of relationships can be based in like obligation and duty and responsibility, whereas you really don't live your life like that. Like, you really don't live based in those senses of obligation or something like this, and your friends really notice this about you. I feel the role that you play in your friendships is to inspire and empower your friends. Like, I feel the more that a friend spends time with you and the more that they become close with you, the more empowered they will be in their own life, the more confidence they will have and the courage to be authentic and to live life on their own terms and to go their own direction in life. And I think that for some reason you actually might attract people that don't have that fully yet. Like, for some reason I keep seeing people around you that are really struggling with boundaries, or really struggling with living out of obligation, living out of that sense of feeling trapped, not feeling free, not feeling like they're living life on their own terms, feeling trapped into people pleasing, or not being able to let go of approval from, you know, their families or something like this. So they're living life based on like their family's will, based on what instead of based on what their will is, or something self-sacrificing. Like, I feel like you attract these people. So you do have this kind of leadership energy, like Spirit's saying, like part of your role in your friendships is actually kind of to be a leader and to be a way shower. Like, you hold the light. And like I said, you're a trailblazer. Like, you go somewhere before others have gone. So sometimes the Spirit's saying you might be a little bit confused with like, why do I keep having so many friends that kind of are so different to me, or that don't have this, you know, they might still be in toxic relationships, and that might frustrate you sometimes, because I feel like you're really free, like you don't live life like that. And then you may be watching friends who are, or something like this. Spirit's saying there's something about your energy is meant to inspire and uplift and show people the way, and that for some reason, yeah, sometimes you might attract people that aren't completely the same as you, but there's something about the differences where you can like teach someone more, you can show someone more through that difference. So from your friends, I feel a strong like secret admiring energy. Secret admirer. Ooh, maybe you have a friend who has a crush on you, but I more meant like they secretly admire you in ways that they might feel too kind of like, it's a little bit embarrassing to really like say it to your face all the time. So I think there's a lot of admiring that happens more like in secret, and when they're reflecting on you and who you are and your conversation together, and they're like, wow, this person's really wise, or this person's really strong, this person's so unique, this person's so able to go and live life on their own terms, and I really want that freedom, I really want that sense of being a leader and being my own authority. Your friends really think about you and admire your energy from afar. And I feel like there might be a certain, like, I do think that they say things to you that make you realize that they feel this way, and they want you to know that they appreciate your wisdom, because I think you might be a wisdom giver as well. Like, your friends might come for you for wisdom and be like, hey, what do you think I should do about this? And they know that you have kind of the freedom or the independence to objectively look at their life, but also to kind of tell them the thing that you genuinely think is right, rather than the thing that you think is going to please the most people kind of thing. Like, I feel like, yeah, you really don't worry about people pleasing, or, you know, being blunt or truthful or honest about things, because if it's the right thing, then it's the right thing. So I feel like you really help people with that. You help people kind of shift their perspective so that they can make tough decisions, and it doesn't feel as tough because it's coming from a place of, oh yeah, I need to make this decision because it's in the highest good of all. You really help people see that. So yeah, there's a lot of admiration. I think that your friends see you as more inspiring than they might tell you about, because I don't know, I just feel a sense of, you know, it's a little bit awkward to just like be hanging out with someone, just be like, just so you know, I really, really admire you and I think you're really amazing. Like, they don't want to make it weird. But I do feel there's a strong magnetic energy, because you are a beacon for others. Like, you have that fire energy, you have that light in you. And also you're kind of turned away here in this image. Like, I feel your energy as sort of, you're focused on your own path. Like, look at that. Like, this person is just like, they're looking in their own direction, but they're holding that fire out so that others can see as well, right? Oh, that's creepy. I didn't see those people there before. What? Shadow people following you. Okay. But yeah, there's something about you're focused on your own path. Like, you really are, you've got your own kind of stuff going on as well. And I think that there's an independence that your friends feel from you. Like, you would be okay if they weren't available for a while. Like, you'll be fine. They don't feel like you're clingy or that you're attached to them too much. They feel like you have your own life, your own stuff going on, and that you're going to continue having your own life and your own stuff going on, whether they're around or they're not around. So it's very different, because I think people feel very free to be in relationship with you as well, which makes them feel good, because yeah, there's a lot of relationships, like I was saying on Earth, there's a lot of relationships that are based in obligation and they don't really want to be there, but I'm just doing it because I feel like I have to. And so I think as well, your friends feel grateful that you are their friend, because they're like, they know that you would not be friends with someone if you weren't interested in being friends with them. Like, you would just not give your time if you weren't interested. It just wouldn't be something you do. You're authentic, you're real. And so your friends know that that means that you authentically care about them. All right, so let's pull one of the 7 chakras for you. Ooh, this one's been coming out so much. So yeah, so the wisdom's coming through with this card. Like, they really see you as having wisdom. I do feel like your friends would call on you when they're going through something. They want to see what your perspective is. They want to know what your perception is, because you see things differently to others. You have the vantage point, like I said, of kind of being detached from the matrix in some way, or being not in these patterns of people pleasing. So your friends feel like you have this purified perception, or this objective way of looking at things. It's very nice. I feel like you're very objective when your friends talk to you about things. Like, for example, I think that you're not too pushy, and this is something your friends really want to say that they're really grateful for about you. Because, for example, if someone's going through a tough thing, like they're in a toxic job or in a toxic relationship, sometimes that can be really hard to like talk to with friends, because if a friend or someone you're telling about it becomes too emotionally reactive and invested in, like, oh my god, this is so bad, you have to leave immediately, and they become really pushy and try to like control your free will, then that can make someone feel very overwhelmed and like they don't really want to talk about that anymore with this person, kind of thing. You know, or if someone's in a toxic relationship, then it's just hard sometimes to navigate like talking about this in a way that still cultivates trust and safety. So there's something, a way that you do that that's like very natural, and you just know how to talk about things where you're not attacking the person, you're not attacking their partner or their boss. Because then I find like some people try to protect them. They're like, no, I need to protect my partner, I need to protect my boss, or I need to protect or justify why I'm here. And it's like, you really don't create that tension. You really just hold the space where someone can be honest with you and be like, you know what, I'm really suffering, I'm really struggling, I'm really overwhelmed at this job, I'm really not doing well, or I'm really, you know, unhappy in this relationship, I don't know what to do. And you just hold space in a way where people can kind of figure out the truth for themselves, and they're like, you know what, yeah, I do need to leave this job. And it's like they'll come to that for themselves, rather than you telling them, hey, you have to leave this job right now, it's terrible for you. Because it's like, yes, that might be the truth, but people need to see things for themselves, or else it's not going to create meaningful change. And I feel like you have enough emotional intelligence to actually like hold back on your emotional reaction and just hold space for somebody. Even if you do have strong opinions, you know, you can give them if you're asked, kind of thing. But I feel like you're not pushy. You're not like, you have to leave this job right now, call your boss right now, I'm like forcing you to do it. You're really, really more chill about it. And this people that are your friends really want to say thank you for this, because it gives them a very sacred space where they can figure things out for themselves, and they can also come to decisions for themselves, which makes them feel so much more empowered. because, you know, otherwise it's a very codependent dynamic. If someone's like, if you were to tell the person like, this is what you have to do, and I'm telling you, and I know what's best for you, that's not a very healthy situation. So I feel like you have this gentleness maybe as well, even though you have this strength as a leader. You also have this way with others where you can be gentle and you can just acknowledge that we're all working our way through things that are challenging, and sometimes it's not resolved after one conversation. Sometimes one conversation isn't enough for someone to leave their toxic job. Sometimes that takes weeks, you know. But you hold space for someone and you do it really well. Like, you're not enabling them either. Like, I don't know how you do this because it's very well done. The spirit's congratulating you for this as well. And your friends are super grateful. Like, the higher self of your friends is coming through really strong to just be like, thank you. Thank you so much because you've helped me. They really want you to know that you've helped me on my soul path. You've helped me find my way. You've given me space. You've held space for me in ways that no one else could, in this gentle way where you were also still kind of tough on me as well. And I don't know how you did that, but you did it. And thank you so much because it really helped change my life. And it helped steer me in a different direction in which I was truly meant to go. Like, you helped show me the truth of what it was that I needed to see. And you held space with love and compassion while I was coming to terms with that. Because I think that for some reason, I think you help people come to terms with things that are really hard for them to see. Like, because it can be really hard to see a toxic boss or a toxic relationship, because we're usually attracted to those things because it's familiar to us in some way, right? Because we're like, oh yeah, this boss is just like my dad, or just like my mom, or just like my brother, right? And it's like, oh yeah, of course. So you help people to really unpack things at a deeply subconscious level. And like I said, this actually creates meaningful change versus if you were to just tell someone, oh my God, you have to quit your job right now. This is the toxic pattern that you're playing out, then people would just run away and be like, whatever, this is too much. This person's trying to control my life. So yeah, I just feel super amounts of gratitude coming through from your friends, because they're like, I feel the sense of like, how did you do this? How did you hold space for me without enabling me? And that's a really special thing that you're able to do. Like, you don't enable someone. Like, you also tell them honestly if you think that they are self-sabotaging or self-sacrificing or, you know, being delusional or something. You're like, you know what, I don't think it's going to work out with this person, but okay. Like, I feel like you kind of walk that balancing line between not pushing someone but also not enabling someone to remain in a toxic situation, because you still care about them and you're still like advocating for their well-being. So yeah, it's a very special energy. Okay, so let's pull, why not, let's just do this deck. It was just sitting there, so it must be meant to be. Okay, so how do your friends view you? What do you need to release? Yeah, you seem to show people what it is that they need to release, and they feel like when they're around you, they can't ignore it anymore. They're like, okay, I have to deal with this, don't I? What's this one? Take time to breathe out. Ooh. Yeah, see, this is the gentleness and the patience energy that's coming through. Spirit really wants you to know as well. Like, your spirit team really wants you to know this, as well as your friend's higher self. Thank you. Because you know how to hold space. Oh my gosh, is this rare on this earth? Like, you know how to hold space for somebody with gentleness, with patience, and with love. And you hold space while they unpack things and come to genuine truths about life. And you do so in a way where you're not pushing them and you're not trying to control them and you're not trying to be like, you have to do this thing, it's the only way, but you're also not enabling them and telling them that it's fine to, you know, stay in something that's toxic or abusive. You're not doing that either. And it's like, how did you do it? This is your gift or something. This is amazing. It's such a beautiful gift that you have. So when your friends are around you, they feel like they can see what it is that they need to release. But when they're not around you, they can fall back into kind of like illusions as well. Like, you might have this a lot, I'm seeing, where when your friends are with you, they have super clarity with the third eye. They're like, oh my God, I see exactly what's going on. I know that it's about connected to this thing and this pattern that I have, and I know exactly what I need to do. But then they leave being around you, and then they're saying, oh, you know, no, we're not, you know, I'm not leaving my job, it's fine. And then they come back around you and they're like, you know what? And like a month later, they're like, I'm so unhappy. I got to do it. I can feel it. I know this is what I meant to do. And then they go back and they're still at the job. And it's like, you somehow manage to love someone through that. And you don't make it about you, and you don't take it personally that someone's still sorting something through, because the truth is we're all doing this. We're all kind of like dancing between these timelines and trying to get to release what is blocking us enough to choose what is true. So I think, yeah, you just hold space and grace for somebody in ways that is very rare. And I feel like you are a one-of-a-kind friend, like 100% you're a one-of-a-kind friend. People feel really relaxed with you because I think they trust that you're not going to judge them. And I think that they trust, like, even if, honestly, you have a very non-judgmental energy now that I'm tuning in with these two cards. Take time to breathe out. What do you need to release? It's like you can show someone what it is that they need to release, but you can also not judge them if they're struggling to release it. And that is something that is really beautiful and that your friends are so grateful for, because I feel like most people are either one or the other, where they're like, oh no, you don't have to release this. You should just keep working at this job. Or they're like, why haven't you released this thing? And kind of take it personally and get angry kind of thing. So it's like somehow you can do both. You can have patience, but you can also kind of apply that evolutionary pressure of like, well, this is just true. Like something has to shift here. So yeah, your friends are super grateful that you didn't judge them and that you held space for them where they could come to the truth and they could keep coming back to the truth until it finally clicked and they could finally integrate it enough where they could take action. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's do another deck actually. How do your friends view? Oh, look, the burden underneath. What do you need to release? Oh, wow. So again, I'm feeling like, how do you do this? Because somehow you manage to hold space for someone where they can come to terms with the wounded parts of themselves that they feel are probably very unlovable. They can actually relax into it and see it for what it is around your energy. Like you really expose things, you really bring light to things, and you show people, like I said, where they might be self-sabotaging, where they're holding themselves back, where they might be tolerating abuse or toxicity when they don't need to be. And you kind of hold this like very firm kind of truth with the third eye. It's like there is an objective truth here, which is that this person is abusive or something like this. But you can also hold the nuance of like how challenging it is to actually unleash ourselves from that and release ourselves, like unchain ourselves from toxic situations. It can be so hard to release things like this. So it's like you really know what a burden that it is, but you also know how challenging it is to do that work, to release it fully. So with the goblin, the wounded human ego, again, there's some skill that you have in doing this because back of the deck is love. So it's like, yeah, people love you very deeply. But most people, if they feel like their goblin energy around someone, then they might feel really triggered by that person, or they might feel really rejecting of that person. But for some reason, your friends, they feel really healed by it. They feel really healed that they get to know this goblin energy when they're around you, and they get to kind of see it for the truth of what it is. And they release the illusions of, I don't know, feeling like disempowered in some way. So somehow you hold space where people's woundedness can be seen, can be loved, can be released, can be healed, can be changed, and ultimately can lead to empowerment. So that's how you make your friends feel. You make them feel empowered, like they can change, like they can heal, like they can genuinely overcome the burdens and the things that they are struggling with. So you give people such hope and such inspiration and such strength to make the tough decisions in life. All right, group 1, continue being an amazing friend. I so enjoyed tuning in for you today, and if you would like to check out more of my work, then all the links are in the description box below. Hello group 2 and welcome to your reading. So I feel like the thing is coming through really strongly with this discovering truth, you stand in the light of truth card, is that your friends feel like that you and them share some kind of knowledge of truth or see some kind of truth that others cannot see. It might be kind of niche, or it might be something that, it's something about seeing the truth that others can't. And that's why your friends feel really, really good around you. They love you. They love being around you because it feels very soothing for their soul to be around someone who can see the same light of truth that they can see. Because I feel like your friends are surrounded by people who still believe in illusions, whether that's like spiritual or whatever it might be. There's something about the illusions of life that your friends feel they're kind of surrounded by. But then when they get around you, it's so fresh, the energy is so fresh and it's so alive, and it feels so activating and energizing to be around you, because I feel like they realize how much energy that it takes to be around people that don't see the truth, or where they have to censor themselves, or they can't say things that they really think because people won't understand, or they won't like it, or they'll be offended, or they'll take it the wrong way. Whereas like people, your friends, feel like with you that you will just get it. It's so easy with you, like you just understand what they're going to say. And there's this shared, like I said, there's this shared understanding of truth, or this shared knowledge of truth, of hidden truth maybe, of truth that for some reason is obscured within the world at large, where you and your friends see it, and that brings you very close, and it brings you a lot of activating energy, where, like I said, you probably feel this as well from your friends, where you feel activated and energized by being around them because you share in this light of truth. Whereas a lot of you, I feel, are surrounded by illusions still. I mean, this world is full of illusions, but yeah, and it might be like a niche thing that you're interested in, that your friends are also interested in as well. It might be something like that, where you also have very niche interests or hobbies or skills or knowledge, like I said, hidden knowledge that's more niche, or seen as like different, or a subculture even. So that could be also what's going on. But your friends just love that you have this like similarities that you share in this belief system, or that you share in this way of seeing things, or you share in this ability to see the truth where so many others can't. And that just feels, like I said, so energizing. Like they feel recharged by your energy and by your friendship, and they're very grateful. They're very grateful to have you. I feel like your friends are extremely grateful, actually, because I think they would feel like life was way harder if they didn't have you. Like I think they would, I feel like they feel like if they didn't have people they could share in this truth with, that they would go insane, they would go crazy. So it's like you really help people to feel like they can live on this earth dimension, that life can be enjoyable, that it can be worthwhile. Because yeah, I just feel this soul crushing energy from like the weight of conformity and the illusions that so many of this earth is like based in. Okay, so let's pull one of these chakra cards, okay, for your group. Ooh, sacral chakra. That's nice. So yeah, I was feeling like an energized energy, right? I feel like you might also I feel like maybe when you meet up with your friends, maybe I'm hearing like they could just be quite a loud energy, like a very fun, exuberant, like there's a massive energy that just gets birthed. Like I'm feeling this explosion, like fireworks, this huge eruption of energy when you come together in the physical with your friends and you're hanging out and you're sharing stories, or you're, I don't know, whatever it is, you're doing something, you're doing an activity, you're laughing, you're dancing, you're playing, communicating, but it just brings so much aliveness to the energy grid, and it brings so much light as well to the world. So your friendships are very good for you, like really good for you, and for your friends as well. Like you have a very positive influence on each other, and I think that you would leave hanging out with your friends feeling really energized, really full of energy, and really like full up, like your cup is full. I feel like you kind of refill each other's cups. It feels like you are on the same vibrational frequency as your friends, and so when you meet up, it's like, oh, it feels so good. It feels like the elixir of life or something, like so rejuvenating. Like you almost age backwards when you're together because you feel so good. You're so full of light, you're so radiant. Yeah, there is something about that, like feeling young again. Like you make me feel young again, you make me feel rejuvenated, you make me look 10 years younger just by being around you, because I feel so full of light and so radiant and so happy and so joyful. It's almost a childlike joy. There's something about age, like youthfulness coming in. Maybe these are friends you've known for a long time, or they just make you feel like that childlike joy and giddiness and excitement. Like there's so much exuberance and excitement, and I feel like you really could really have fun just doing anything, like whatever it might be that you're doing together, it would be fun. But I do think as well your friends like to do activities with you. Like I feel like you're someone that might be quite up for doing things, like I don't know, getting more out of your comfort zone, like going out dancing or going to a festival or going camping or doing some kind of hike or adventure or travel. There's something about that where they feel like your friends feel like, oh, I could do this with you, like you would be down for this, you would be kind of willing to explore with me. All right, so let's pull a couple more cards about your creative projects, the creativity. So you're seen as very creative with the sacral chakra as well, very creative. And actually, you might also help your friends with creativity. Like if you hang out together, you might do, I don't know, art, like you might do drawing or painting or coloring in books or draw mandalas or, I don't know, create a fairy garden. Like there's something about you that's very creative, and you kind of maybe bring the people, your friends that you're friends with, kind of into that. Some kind of creativity or some kind of action, because the sacral chakra likes to be embodied. Like it's like maybe you ask, do you want to go for a hike? Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to go for a swim? Do you want to go travel with me? There's something about the embodiment and the experience of life that people really love around you. They're like, whoa, I went and hung out with my friend and we were doing this artwork, we were making mandalas, and then we cooked dinner, and then we, you know, went for this really long walk at the beach, and I just felt so good afterwards. I felt so nourished. It's that kind of energy where it's just super wholesome, super wholesome. I think as well, you inspire your friends to be more creative and to kind of let themselves be more creative. Like you might, sometimes I think people who are a bit more uptight might be actually attracted to you because it helps them to let go and feel more release and relief from life. Like, for example, it might be someone who's like, I can't dance, but then when they're around you, they're like, oh, I can dance, even if it's goofy. Like there's something actually kind of cool about goofy dancing. Like I love goofy dancing. I feel like it's necessary. You can't always dance in, you know, this really sophisticated or like sexy way. Like sometimes you just got to like move for the sake of moving your body. And when you're around friends, it's like super fun to just kind of be free flowing and goofy and playing. Like I could see you doing kind of acrobatics on the floor. Like there's something very youthful about you wanting to do cartwheels, fairy gardens. It's super like pleasurable and full of that joy of youth. You also might have friends that really want to collaborate with you on some kind of creative project, or that see you as, I think your friends definitely see you as a creative, and they see you as really good at the art that you do, whatever that might be, your music, your voice, your channeling, your whatever the art is that you do, you somehow embody this creative spirit. Or it could even be some kind of like athletic niche thing that you do, like, I don't know, paragliding, and they're like, wow, that's so cool that you do that. There's some kind of admiration and inspiration that comes through your creativity or your embodiment. Maybe you're a traveler, you've traveled all around the world. There's something about the experiences that you've had or the creativity that you express that people like want to collaborate with you on. They're like, can I come too? It's that kind of energy. Can I come too? I really like this. This sounds amazing. So I feel like, yeah, you do have this tendency to make people kind of want to be around you or be near you or be a part of something that you're creating or that you're producing, or your ideas or something like that. Okay, so let's pull one more, because the spiders also like can be a little bit intimidating. Hawks, the hawk, Omen's messages. I said hawks. The wingspan, so amazing, isn't it? Okay, so you got 2 animal guides come through in your reading, which is very earthy and grounded and nice. But it's interesting because I feel like spiders can be kind of scary, right? I think that there is some kind of scariness associated with spiders. So I feel like maybe you have an energy to you that's like provocative, or that the world at large might feel judgmental of, or I don't know, there's something about your energy that seems kind of provocative. Maybe you trigger people. Maybe you have like a lot of jealousy or something like this, because this is something your friends notice. Your friends notice that people can be triggered by you, that people can misinterpret you, or they can sort of take it the wrong way, or they can feel offended, or they can think that you're too provocative. And I feel like your friends see this and they actually like this more about you. Like they like that you scare people off, or that you're I don't know, something about you have a provocative nature. And I think it's because you just tell the truth. Look, discovering truth, you stand in the light of truth. And I feel like maybe you even do this with your friends, where it's like, maybe you challenge them, maybe you're a little bit provocative, a little bit cheeky, a little bit, I don't know, kind of like poking them in ways. I think you might challenge your friends with the spider energy. I'm seeing it now. And with the omens and messages, like challenging them with kind of ways that you might see things from a higher perspective. I think to be in relationship with you demand a lot of honesty, and you give a lot of honesty, and you also want your friends to be brutally honest with you as well. Like you want them to tell you what they actually think. You don't want them to kind of, I don't know, try to people please you or anything like that. So there's something here about people, your friends see you as being some kind of a provocative force in the world, or that people often I don't know, have big reactions to you, whether for better or for worse. Like, I feel like people have reactions to you. They get triggered by you. They love you, they hate you, one or the other. And I think, of course, your friends really love you, but they also find it fascinating for some reason, the way that you hold this energy and the way that people react to you. For some reason, I'm being shown them looking at this and learning from it. Like, they learn from the ways in which people react to you because you hold that truth no matter what. Like, I think it's that you hold the truth. Yeah, you hold the truth no matter what. If people can perceive of it or not, you don't mind. Because for some reason this is very compelling to them and they find this very, very, very interesting. It's like you hold this truth, you hold the omens, you hold the messages of truth, and you express them, even if that scares people with the spider, even if that frightens people, even if that makes people feel sort of like a big reaction, like fear reaction. You don't take that on. You're not taking on people's reactions to what it is that's the truth. You're like, well, this is just objectively the truth, so your reaction to it is kind of irrelevant to me telling it. You know what I mean? For some reason, your friends think that you're able to handle that. You're able to handle the reaction. You're able to handle people's reactions to the truth in ways that they don't always feel like they can, or in ways that they don't know how you do it. How do you do this? They think it's really cool because they find it, like, I think they would find that a lot. Because with truth, there's like a quote that I always quote in readings because Spirit always puts it in my head. And it's something like, truth must first pass through 3 stages. The first stage is that it is ridiculed. The second stage is that it is violently opposed. And the third stage is that it is accepted as self-evident. So I love that because I feel it's so true, and it's so true as well with consciousness. Like, different levels of consciousness will perceive truth in different ways. Some people will perceive truth at a certain level of consciousness and they will laugh at it, they'll ridicule it, they'll make a joke out of it, they'll want to bully it. Others will see truth at a certain consciousness level and they'll want to violently oppose it, they'll want to shut it down. And then others will see truth at a certain consciousness level and they'll see, well, of course, it's self-evident. So you are around people, like your friends, of course, share this self-evident view where you're like, yes, it's self-evident. Of course, it makes so much sense. Like, this is self-evident. But they see how you also don't change that, you don't change the way you behave, whether you're around others who see it as self-evident or whether you're around others who ridicule it and want to violently oppose the truth. And that is powerful. Like, that is very powerful because, I mean, it's scary, right? To be violently opposed or ridiculed or whatever. It's not a pleasant energy. So for some reason, like, you're able to handle this and this is what your friends see in you. They see this and they admire this about you and you teach them. Like, I feel like you have a teaching energy about you. You also don't necessarily teach through, like, intellectually, like, this is how it is, this is what you should do, da da da. You more teach through your embodiment, and then others follow suit and they're like, oh yeah, I can do this too. I can live this embodied as well. I can, I don't know, be this brave or be this provocative as well. So you might have provocative energy through your artwork, through your creativity, through your sexuality, your embodiment. It might be through the way you choose to live, the truth that you perceive. Or it might be that, like I said, you just don't censor yourself in certain ways, or your friends see that you handle the consciousness on earth that cannot perceive truth yet, that want to violently oppose it or ridicule it. You can handle that, and it doesn't change your message. So this is something that your friends have thought about a lot. Like, your friends have literally thought about you in their own time and wondered, like, why do I feel so inspired by this person? Like, why do I feel so moved by them? Why do I feel so almost like deeply magnetized to your energy? And they've thought about it, and I think they've come to this recognition that it's because of your embodiment and your authenticity and how you don't alter yourself, you don't change yourself based on, like I said, how it's going to be received or perceived by those who are at lower consciousness. Because the higher consciousness that you are, the more truth that you perceive more of the time. So there's a lot of illusions on this earth where people are not perceiving truth. They just are not. So it's like you being able to realize that doesn't change the truth. That doesn't mean that it's not true. It's still true. Whether someone can perceive it or not, there will still be a truth there. So I feel like this is very powerful, and for some reason your friends maybe aren't as down with this energy, or they're not as good at kind of being provocative for some reason, because yeah, it's something that they really, really admire about you. Okay, so let's see. How do your friends see you? 4 of Swords. Seven of Pentacles. Let's get two more. The Tower. That's funny. I'll tell you about it in a sec. Okay, and one more spirit, one more card. Oh, 10 of Cups. Are you serious? That's so sweet. Yeah, your friends love you. Your friends love you. They see you as paradise, like heaven on earth energy. Wow. Okay, so the Tower and the Four of Swords. How do your friends see you? They see you as possessing some kind of magical energy where you're able to manifest things without trying. This is something that your friends are really noticing. They really admire you for it. They really think about this. They look at you and they're like, wait a minute, how did they do that? How is this possible? That has to be magic. It's about your manifestational abilities with the sacral chakra, where the Four of Swords, it's like you can do nothing and then everything is somehow done. This is an energy that they really want to tap into more for themselves, your friends, and they love this about you. They love how you can just have something show up and manifest out like last minute, and they're like, how did that happen? I can't believe that happened for you. They see you as lucky and as having some kind of a blessed life in this life. Like maybe you're destined to be, I don't know, on the public stage, or you're destined to be really rich, or I don't know, really successful, or a leader in a certain area. But there's something about them, they see you as like touched by the path of destiny. Like they see you as, wow, this person has luck that is outside of their hands. Like you are blessed by the divine, you have a divine destiny, you are helped on your path by the angels, and this shows up with evidence. Like you have things literally fall into your lap sometimes. You have things manifest. You'll be like telling them, oh, I really wanted to find like, you know, I don't know, a new couch. And then it's like your neighbor just puts out this amazing couch onto the street and then you go get a free couch. Like it's something like that where it's like, it's very effortless. It just happens almost it just happens. And your friends are seeing this and they're like, I want that. I want that. I want ability for things to just fall into my lap and manifest really easily and have this sort of effortless abundance. Like, yeah, I think you're very much seen as abundance. You're very much seen as abundance. That's nice. You're very much seen as abundant and generous as well. Like your friends think you're very generous with them and they love this about you. But yeah, with the Seven of Pentacles, again, your friends think you're going places. Like maybe this is something that is more, I don't know, hidden in the way that they see you, but they think you're going places. Like maybe it's really obvious to everyone. I don't know, but there's something here with the Seven of Pentacles, even if you aren't successful or rich or famous or I don't know, whatever it is that they can see in you. Even if you're not those things yet, you have it in your aura, and this makes you very magnetic and very compelling. And people are like, wow, I really feel like this person's going places. Even if they don't know that they're thinking that, they are feeling that. And there might also be a lot of jealousy and envy that you've attracted because of this energy in your aura. Like you can have jealousy happen just from energy. It doesn't even have to be that you have money or you have looks or you have, I don't know, someone's, you know, you have a relationship someone wants. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be anything that you technically do or have. It's actually just an energy that you are, that people are jealous of. Like that's the kind of energy I'm feeling for you, where it might even be that you are wondering like, why would this person be jealous of me? Or why would they, like it just feels so, like maybe you feel like you don't have anything yet for people to be jealous of, because Seven of Pentacles can talk about things that we have to work for over time, over a long period of time. Like it takes time to kind of build up. So I feel like the thing is, though, Spirit's saying is that you have this potential in your aura, in your energetic field, where people can see like you are going places. You're going to be very, very successful in this life in a certain way, and they can tell and they know. It's kind of like how people are like, you know, oh yeah, I went to high school with this celebrity. I really knew this celebrity back before they were famous. I feel like you have this energy where people are like, you're going somewhere. And again, they might not even consciously know this, but subconsciously they can feel it, because subconsciously we know things. We know truth. Like we can feel truth subconsciously because truth is already there. So this is already written. This is already part of your destiny path. Like you are going somewhere. You are going to be very successful. You are going to have a massive mission, you know, in your lifetime, maybe even some kind of public recognition in your lifetime. Because yeah, I do feel this energy of I knew you before you were famous. It's from your friends, from your friends higher self. I knew you before you were famous. It's something like this, okay? So interpret it in any flexible way that you would like to, because I know for everyone, not everyone wants to be famous. Like that's totally fine. But there's something about this, like maybe it's famous, but you're famous for your writing, right? So it's like you don't have to be a celebrity, but your book gets really famous or something. It's something like this where you become known. for your creative projects. There you go. You become known for it. And people can feel this in you. They can tell that you're going somewhere. So with the 10 of Cups, oh my gosh, I feel like people feel that friendship with you is like paradise. It's like heaven on earth. It's 10 of Cups. It's new earth energy. I feel like your group really strongly coming through is the energy of the new earth within your friendships. And I think that you're meant to cultivate this energy, because I was feeling like your frequency is the same. Like you're on the same frequency level as your friends. Whereas group 1, oh, sorry, I keep hitting things. My hands are always flying everywhere when I channel. Group 1, I felt like their friends were on almost a different frequency wavelength, and for some reason that was how it was meant to be right now. But for you, I feel like you're on the same wavelength as your friends. And for some of you might actually have friends kind of coming in still with the 7 of Pentacles. Like, oh, I keep with the 7 of Pentacles, you might have friends coming in soon if you're kind of thinking that you don't have a lot of friends right now. Well, that might be something that's coming over time. But yeah, you're going to build a really beautiful energy. This is one of my favorite cards. I think this is like, the 10 of Cups is my favorite card, because look at that. Isn't that just heaven on earth? Like, it's just so happy. It's just such a happy energy. It's amazing. So this is the energy you're already cultivating with your friends. Remember how I said, like, when you get together, there's just this like extreme explosion of light. Look at that rainbow. Look at all those butterflies and the bees. It's like there's so much happening. There's so much excitement in the energy field when you come together, especially when you come together in real life, in person. So I'm seeing really strong soul family energy with the 10 of Cups. This is soul family, where together your mission is to create the new earth and to ground the new earth frequency. So that is some extremely holy friendship that you either have or you have coming in. All right, group 2, that's the end of your reading, but I'm sending you so much love on your path. And if you would like to check out more of my work, then see the links in the description below. Hello group 3, welcome to your reading. So I feel like your friends really admire something about you. They really admire you. I'm feeling strong admiration energy coming through, and they admire something that you do. Like, it's something that you do. So it might be a job that you have, or a career, or a mission. Like, they admire your mission, your divine mission, or your divine role. They just admire who you are as a human and like the way that you show up kind of in the world. But it feels more specifically like about actions that you take. Like, maybe they admire that you stick to a workout routine, or that you eat really healthy, or that you're on a detox protocol. I don't know, there's something about the things that you do where your friends admire it, and they're like, you know what? Maybe I could do that. Maybe I should do a little bit more of that. Like, there's something about you really influence people around you just through your own embodiment, just through your own choices. And I feel like you're not really trying to get other people to do it, but you're just doing it for yourself. And then because you're doing it for yourself and you're getting results and you're really enjoying it, other people start to become interested and intrigued to be like, oh, yeah, actually, can you tell me more about this? Can you, like, so how long have you been going, working out for? You look amazing, kind of thing. So there's might be a little bit of a quietness to you, actually, where you might not be like displaying or like telling everyone what it is that you're doing all the time. But once your friends kind of get to know you, they might observe you, or they might figure it out. Like, they might almost feel like they're figuring it out. They're like, what do you even do in your spare time? They kind of want to know more about you. And then once they do realize that you're taking action in this very like honorable way in some way. Like, it might be, like I said, your job. They might feel really admiration for your job or for your role, or like for a routine that you have. Oh yeah, it could also be they admire you for raising the way that you raise your children, or the way that you, I don't know, grow your own food or look after animals. There's something really practical about that, something that they admire about you, that, yeah, they really admire about you. Okay, let's pull you a chakra card. Ooh. The solar plexus, yes. Strong beyond measure. So your friends really admire your power. I feel like your friends really see you as being very, very powerful. But there's something about a quietness to your energy field where you're not really telling everyone what you're doing or what you're up to. There's something about your friends feel like they have to find out for themselves what it is that you've been up to by asking you questions, because you're not going to tell them that you just like hiked up a mountain. You're not going to go broadcasting it to the world. They have to kind of find out for themselves. Or it's sort of like if a friend comes to stay with you and then they kind of get to know your routine because they're staying in your house for a weekend, and they start to really admire. They're like, wow, you have a really good routine, or you have a really nice, I don't know, yoga studio that you go to every day, or you have like, there's something about your energy where people were like, wow, I really want that. And it's very action based. It's very much like, or maybe it's the way that you raise your kids or something. There's something like people, when they find out, they feel really inspired and they think that you're also very strong. Maybe you stick to a routine, or, you know, it takes a lot of strength to raise children, for example. There's something they really admire, the strength that it takes. So yeah, you're showing up as really strong, really in your power. For some reason, I feel a lot of physical activity from your group. Like maybe you are quite fit, or your friends perceive you as genuinely having like physical strength in some way. For some reason, I'm seeing that. Interesting. I feel like you have a very practical way of showing up in your friendships, and you also might really practically show your love to your friends through like doing things, acts of service, or like being genuinely there for them when they need you. Like, I feel like you're a very reliable friend, and this is something your friends love about you. You're very reliable, and you're really just like there. You're like, yep, I'm here, we'll go for it, like, let's do this. Whereas I feel like so many people are like flaky, or they're not really there when you really need them. Whereas I feel like you just have this solid energy where you are there for a friend when they need you. And you have this way of knowing as well intuitively, like when someone really needs you and when you really need to, I don't know, put something down to like be there for a friend. All right, so let's pull another card. Let's see what role do you play in your friendships. Let's expand on that. What role do you play? Oh, love. What? That is so pure and just divine. Wow. Okay, let's get one more. Oh, wow. The dog. Loyalty, sincerity, unconditional love. Your friends love you, group 3. What? I just felt filled up with like so much love and light just all at once. I think I've had this massive grin on my face as I'm tuning in as well. And it is a gift. It is such a gift and a privilege and a pleasure to be able to be your friend. Like, that's how I feel their energy coming through, because you just have this loving energy, this unconditionally loving energy that's very loyal, that's very sincere, that's very pure, that's very, wow, like people feel so comfortable around you. You know how like if you like dogs, then if you see a dog out and about, like sometimes you just end up like talking to them. Like, this happens to me a lot. I love animals, and sometimes, like, you know, you just end up seeing a dog where you're like, oh my god, I want to go talk to that dog, because I also like talking to animals as well, telepathically sometimes. So anyway, I just feel this energy where it's like instant connection, it's instant friendship. Just like how if I go like hang out with a dog that I see out in public, it's like we're not like taking ages to get to know each other. Like, we're hugging straight away. Come on, let's come in for a hug, let's hang out, let's play, this is exuberant. So it's like there's this real like safety I feel from your friendships, where they feel like they can be friends straight away, or they can really let you in straight away. You're like super safe human, and you're like a safe haven, a safe harbor. I really feel this sense of non-judgment, but from a real genuine place where you really do genuinely somehow not judge people. Like, this is really, really special energy. I feel like people might feel like they can tell you anything. They could tell you their deepest, darkest secrets, because the love that you hold is so pure and so real that they genuinely think that you would still love them, even if they told you things that they were ashamed of, or that they didn't feel like they could tell others. You really feel like someone that they could tell their deepest, darkest secrets to. So I actually feel like your role in your friendships is to be deeply, deeply loving, and almost in a way unconditionally loving, like with the dog spirit, sincerity, loyalty, unconditional love. Of course, you know, this is only with people that are safe to do this with, but I feel like your friends are. So I feel like your role is to be this very deeply unconditionally loving energy, because it provides this, it's kind of like the energy when a parent has a child, and if they're like super, super strict on the child, then a lot of the time the child will end up just lying and kind of, you know, doing their own thing and rebelling in like a secret way, or like keeping secrets or hiding things. Versus if a parent has a way of keeping those lines of communication open, even if the child's like a teenager and they're going through some rebellious phase, if there can be some way that there can still be communication and some kind of ability to not judge too harshly, then that can really be a safe place for the child to actually like work some stuff out, if it's possible, right? But that's the kind of energy I'm getting. It's like you're kind of this ideal energy where you invite in people to be honest with you because you don't react really harshly or judge or punish or be cruel or like become really strict or whatever. Because that's the thing, it's true even when we're not children. Like if we have a friend and when we tell them things that is going on for us or that's really deep for us, and they instantly go to harsh judgment or criticizing or telling us that we're silly for doing that or for, you know, whatever, struggling with that, then, you know, you're probably not likely to open up to that friend very often. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know, this friend, I can't tell them about these things because it doesn't feel good. Or you might not really want to be friends anymore if they're really judging. But that's the thing. It's like judgment creates isolation. It creates a sense of, and you know, there is good judgment of others. Like I'm not talking about having discernment and having genuine like ability to have good judgment of things. I'm talking about within friendships, within relationships. Like for some reason you're extremely healing because you don't judge people, and so therefore they feel like they can be honest. And when honesty, like when you have lines of honesty, it really helps heal. Like it really does. The feeling of being able to tell someone what's really going on without fear of judgment, without fear that it will change the relationship or make it weird. It's like someone can tell you their deepest, darkest secrets the night before, and then the next morning you're just like, hey, how's it going? Do you know what I mean? And you just have this brightness and this purity energy where they're thinking like, oh my God, are they judging me? Are they thinking about the thing that I told them last night? And it's like you just you make them feel good. You make them feel chill. You make them feel like, you know what? This is actually good. This is good for me. I'm making something. Like you make your friends feel so good. You make your friends feel so loved. You make your friends feel so much light. Like you're coming up as the solar plexus chakra, which is like the sun energy center in the body. The solar energy center in the body. So it's like a sun, it's like a light within us, it's a radiance, and you have that within your friendships. Like when your friends think of you, I'm just seeing so much light and love. Like when they think of you, they think of light and love. And honestly, they could just meditate on your energy and your friendship together, and it would bring healing to them, because there's so much light and love that you offer people that you're in friendship with. And it's this real unconditional love for, like, just for what they're going through on earth. And your spirit guide's also coming through now to tell you that this is very powerful work that you do within all of your relationships. I feel like it's not even just for your friends. I feel like you have this energy a little bit just for everyone. Like everyone gets a little bit of it in whatever way they can. But it's so healing, and Spirit's saying that it's really important that you are alive on this earth right now. Like Spirit's really saying it's really important that you're here on this earth right now, and that you're spreading this light and love in the ways that you are through your relationships, just through the ways that you show up in the world, and whatever way people can access your light and love, the ways that they are accessing it, especially friendships and relationships. It's so healing and it's so beneficial and it's so important. And for some reason, I'm just seeing that it's really important that you're on this side of the veil, because you have this very light, love, like pure energy, and you can do so much from being incarnate, like in this realm. For some reason, I feel like maybe you don't come here very often or something like that, because yeah, there's just a really strong, bright light coming through your reading. Like I'm feeling blinded by the light right now. It's so much light, it's so beautiful, and it makes me feel so much love as well. So yeah, you're very rare. I feel like your friends think this, they think you're so rare. And like, even if they have other friends, like none are like you. Like there's something about you that is very specific, and it's a specific energy that's very, very amazing and lovely, and they can't replace it with anyone else. Like there's no one else that has this level of light and love, or has this type of light and love that you offer. I feel like your friend's higher self coming through now, and they want you to know that they love you unconditionally as well, and that if you need to do something for yourself, that's like kind of more for yourself, that they want you to be able to do that. They don't want you to feel like you always have to be there for other people and feel like, oh no, I really can't let my friend down today because they really need me, even though maybe you need something that day and maybe you need to tend to your needs that day. So it's like your friend's higher self really want you to prioritize yourself, because you are so loyal in your relationships, and like kind of, I don't know, with the solar plexus chakra, it's almost like a diligence, like a responsibility. You take your relationships seriously because they kind of are serious, right? Yeah, like they kind of are. Like we're holding someone's heart in a way. There's a real there's a real sacredness that you treat your relationships with. But your friend's higher self is saying, you can also prioritize yourself, and that's not going to impact our friendship. Like they are still going to love you just as much, and they're going to be happy that you're putting yourself first. So yeah, your friends really see you as being light and love, light and love, light and love. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's pull What are we going to pull though? Okay, I feel like this deck, I still want to use this Avalon deck for some reason, so we're just going to pull a couple more cards from here. How do your friends see you? How do your friends see you? Ooh, the Serpent, knowledge and healing. And then we have truth. You know, there's been this like kind of bleed through all three groups in a way. Maybe it's our collective energy. We're kind of similar to each other or something. But this is reminding me a little bit of the other reading. Okay, so let's tune in. So your friends see you as having a lot of a healing energy, like a healer's energy. You might actually be a healer or channel, or it might be that you're channeling your words. The way that you communicate is very healing. I feel as well that your friends would like to go to you for advice. Like I could see someone thinking, oh, maybe we should ask group 3 for their opinion. And you really help to like align people with truth. Like your advice really helps people to kind of come back into alignment with truth. Maybe you channel information or you pull cards. Like I'm kind of seeing someone calling their friend and being like, hey, I'm really struggling with this decision. Do you mind pulling a card for me? And then they're like, you're the friend and you'll pull a card for them. And then they'll leave that and they'll be like, oh yes, that's right. And you really, whatever you channel, whatever your words are, feels like truth in their body, and it helps them to come back into alignment with like, yes, that's right, this is what I need to do. So I do feel there's something about people wanting to call you for your advice or for your help, or reach out to you for your knowledge, for your healing abilities, for the channeling abilities that you have, for your communication abilities. Like, can I talk this through? Can I brainstorm this idea with you? Can I get your expertise on this? Maybe you're a real genius in a certain area, or like I said, you pull tarot cards or you channel information. There's something about this specialized knowledge that you have that your friends are like, this is gold. And they really admire your ability to kind of show up and be there, because I feel like you're the kind of friend that really would hold space for someone and would say yes to them if they needed help. And I think that, again, you just have this way of like channeling information with the Serpent, knowledge and healing. Like there's some, and 2 + 3, so 23 is 2 + 3 in numerology, which is a 5. 5 is the throat chakra. So you have throat chakra gifts in terms of your channeling abilities. Like I feel that really strongly, or your words. Like I just feel, I keep seeing someone, like one of your friends being in this really tough time in their life, or going through something really challenging where they feel really confused, and they're like, what is the truth? Like, how do I figure out where to go? How do I figure out what decision to make? Or how do I figure out what's right or what's wrong here? And then somehow speaking to you, or having your channeling come through, or having your wisdom or your knowledge, your healing come through in some way, like really helps realign them and put them back onto the path that they're here to be on. And it makes them realize like, oh yeah, that's the truth. And I just feel relief. Like they feel, like I can relax again. I feel relieved, because you also might bring through really high vibrational truths, like a very high truth. Like even if it's a very challenging decision, I feel like you're still able to like channel knowledge and truth about something, even if it might be something that's hard for your friend to hear. Like I think you're still good at doing that. You know, I think that you can sometimes maybe not want to hurt people's feelings. I do feel that from you, because you have this gentle, loving energy, and you want to heal people and you never want to hurt people. But I do think that if the message that you got from your channelings, or if you really felt this intuition to tell your friend something that was hard for them to hear, that you would do that because you genuinely love them and care for them. And so there's something like your friends know this about you. They know that you would always do the right thing. Like you would tell them the truth. And I feel like then they can ask you for your perspective, where they're like, does this stress suit me? And you're like, no, it doesn't. And they're like, okay, well, at least I know, because, you know, another friend would just say yes because they didn't want to offend me. And then I would waste all this money on this dress and then never wear it because I realize it doesn't suit me, you know, and you're just like, no, it doesn't suit you. So I think that that's another thing your friends might call you up for, or the role that you play is like, they're like, tell me the truth. Is this thing okay or not? Or You know that thing where they're like, am I the asshole? You know that there's like a Reddit thread, it's like huge. They're like, did I do the wrong thing here or not? And they want your perspective. They want to know what your opinion is. What's your perspective on this? Because it helps them be like, yeah, exactly. This, group 3 told me that I was totally in the right, so I feel good about it now. Whereas before they might have been confused because people were judging them or something. But yeah, so something about talking to you, they get advice, they feel realigned, they feel like they know where they're going and kind of what's going on. So I feel like that's a huge role that you play, is like you give advice or knowledge or channeling, or you're meant to share your opinions more. Like I feel almost your friend's higher self coming through to say, hey, you can share your opinions more with us. You can even be more truthful and honest, because they love this about you, because you do it from such a loving place, and you're not doing it from a place of like attacking someone. You're doing it because you're like, hey, I actually love you, and this is why I got to tell you this thing. Or I actually love you, and this is why, I feel like this thing isn't good for you anymore. I think that you would actually be able to do that. And again, there's a very unique energy that you hold, because you do it in such a way where it doesn't feel threatening, or it doesn't feel like someone wants to suddenly clam up, or they feel embarrassed or ashamed or something like this. Like, I think that you really do it because you're like, you know what, I need to live from integrity. Like, you have the solar plexus chakra. And even if it's hard for you to say something, I think that you do it because you're like, you know what, I need to keep the lines of communication open here. I need to tell you how I really feel. I need to tell you this thing that I'm feeling, or I don't know, I need to tell you, it's something like I need to tell you this thing. And your friends love this about you, and they're saying, do it more. Tell me more. Tell me more, please. Tell me more. I'm feeling this from them. They're like, don't hold back. Don't hold back in your throat chakra and your wisdom, or in what it is that you're wanting to tell us, because they want to know. They think you're really wise. They think you're incredibly smart. They think you have so much knowledge and channeling, and they think your gifts are really good. And they're like, I want to know what it is that you think. Or they just value your opinion more than you realize. Because your friends are saying, they're telling me, they're like, how hard it is when we're in this earth dimension sometimes to have a clear perception of things. It's so easy for our perception to become distorted, or, misaligned, or suddenly we're just like not seeing things clearly. And for some reason, when you come in and you're like, hey, I see this thing, it feels like truth, and it feels like your friends, suddenly they can see again. You clear their perception, they can see again, and they're like, yeah, that's right, of course. And it makes them feel so soothed. Like that highest truth is very, very soothing, actually, in the body and in the soul and the heart and anybody. It's very soothing to feel that highest perspective of truth. And sometimes it's really easy to get distorted, and our perception gets all muddied and we get confused. And I feel like that's a role that you have, is like, when your friends, they feel confused, they feel their perception is clouded, you help them come back to reality and come back to divine truth. And you do it with such love and gentleness and grace as well. But you also do it even if it's hard for you, even if you're like, oh, this person, they might not like what I have to say, but you still say it because you know that it's the right thing to do, and you live from a really strong place of integrity inside of yourself. So you'll do the hard thing because you know that it's the right thing. But I feel like Spirit's saying that there might be some hang up you have a little bit from childhood, or from your past relationships, or some kind of past dynamic. Maybe it's even past life, throat chakra blocks. But I'm just feeling like sometimes you don't speak up enough in your friendships because you don't want them to feel offended, or you don't want to hurt their feelings, or something like this, where you might see truth more than you say it. You might be kind of waiting for an invitation when it might not always come. Like, sometimes people just telling you about something that they're going through is the permission that they're giving you to kind of respond and say what you think. It might not always be specifically like someone saying, hey, can you specifically look into this thing for me and tell me exactly what it is that you think about it? Like, sometimes that explicit invitation is not always going to happen. And for some reason, your friends are telling me that, see, my throat chakra just went, it's proof. Your friends are telling me that you hold back sometimes in what you could be telling them because you feel like, oh, this is going to rock the boat, or this isn't going to work. And for some reason, I feel like they're saying, you know what, it is going to work more than you realize. Or they respect what you have to say, like, more than you realize. They want you to tell them things. They really think that it helps them with that highest perspective. And I think that there's space in either your current relationships, or maybe this is more something that's going to happen in future friendships, because I do feel a lot of future people coming in for you in this reading, actually. And I was keeping it open in terms of the timeline, but I do feel for your group specifically, future friends coming through to say hello. to say, hello, we're going to come in. Okay, we're coming in. Don't worry, we're coming in. They want you to know that. They want you to know, hello, we're coming in. Hello. They want to say hello. They want you to know that they're going to come in. So don't worry that they're not going to come, because they are. But your current friends or friends in the past are saying that you held back too much in your throat chakra sometimes around the wisdom or the truth that you could have told them that you didn't, or you didn't know if it was the right thing to do, or you didn't think they would want to hear it, or something like this. Because sometimes I feel like even if it doesn't work, like something about they would want to hear it even if it was hard to hear. Okay, and they also telling me that you have a gift with your throat chakra, with the way that you speak things and the way you talk. And they saying that practice this in relationships. Like you can practice this with your friends or with your, current or future. You can practice this gift that you have, because it's going to help the world. The more that you let this throat chakra gift of yours out and you don't hold it back or silence yourself or go into too much of, like I'm just seeing that there's something in your throat, right? Where sometimes it's super free flowing and you're channeling and you're giving truth, you're dishing out the truth with so much love and light. But then other times I feel this throat chakra really, really blocked. And it's like the knowledge and the wisdom isn't being shared, and it's not coming through, and it's not being relayed, and there's a disconnection in relationship that happens. So I feel like, yeah, Spirit's saying this is going to be resolved, but you also have to kind of sometimes take the risk to do it. And Spirit's saying that you're going to find that people respond better than you think, especially the more that you do it, the more that you will attract those people where it goes really smoothly and harmoniously with. But the more that you hold back in your throat chakra in relationship, then the less compatible you're going to be with that person. Because it's almost like, I feel like you can hold back and maybe it's harming you even. It hurts your soul to restrict your throat chakra like this. So you really need to find souls. That's why I felt your friends from the future coming through, because they're like, hello, we're going to have so much fun. Your throat chakra, it's going to be really easy to be super honest with them, and there's going to be a lot of understanding that's just naturally kind of going through. But I do feel like you might still be working through some relationships where you feel like you have to hold back a lot, or you feel like you can't be authentic, or maybe it's not quite reciprocal. Like you hold space for a lot of other people's stuff, but they're not necessarily always holding space for your stuff, kind of thing. I'm seeing that these dynamics are going to shift, and you're going to feel, like you can just have a very fluid and open throat chakra. Because I think that some relationships, either in your past or your present, depending on who you are, they have reflected this blocked throat chakra to you, where you haven't been honest with them, or you haven't been able to be honest with them or authentic with them. And that has felt really uncomfortable, or it's actually ended to the end of a relationship. Because if we can't be honest and authentic, then usually it's not a very sustainable relationship, like, to be fair. So I feel like there's something there about Spirit saying the relationships that will last are the ones that you can be this truth, like fully truthful with, and where your throat chakra is completely free to express. So Spirit's saying kind of like keep in mind those relationships where you feel really free to be authentically yourself. And the more that you cultivate that, the more that it will start to come in and surround you. But the more that you cultivate holding back and holding space for others at the expense of yourself, and kind of not sharing or not telling the truth or not sharing your knowledge, then the more that will manifest in your life. So it's sort of like Spirit saying you kind of have to choose a little bit more those relationships that are authentic, and maybe stop holding as much space for those ones where you don't really feel like you can express yourself, or where your throat chakra feels blocked. All right, group 3, that's the end of your reading. But I do hope that it served you today, and I'm sending you so much love and light on your path. If you would like to check out more of my work, then please see the description box below for all of my links.